Radiant Black, issue number 30 and issue number 30.5 from Image Comics. So in this issue, not only are we going to have the end of the Catalyst War, but we're also going to discover who is going to be Radiant Black. When the Catalyst War first started, we had that whole vote, who would win, Marshall or Nathan, and we had the separate timelines, where we had one timeline where Marshall was the Radiance, we had another timeline where Nathan is the Radiance, and now we have our winner. And I will be spoiling that at the end. So yeah, I'm going to do both issues in one video rather than separating it like I've done in the past. The reason for that is because we no longer have the separate timelines for both issues. Right now, we just have the one timeline. Yeah, the timeline where Marshall ended up being Radiant Black. That timeline is done for now, on the back burner. And now we have the timeline where Nathan is the Radiant Black. And so this takes place not long after Supermassive. In fact, it takes place almost immediately after Supermassive ended. Nathan, as Radiant Black, underwent the test. He failed. And so the vessel that hosts Premiere basically says, we have to take the suits. Failed as the Radiant Black. And so he uses his powers to control Nathan. And he basically has Nathan attacking the city. And so Nathan is causing a bunch of destruction. Yeah. Kind of interesting how Marshall ended up destroying Chicago, but he passed the test. Nathan ended up saving Chicago, failed the test, and now he's being forced to destroy Chicago. We cut back to the post office dude, Kieran, where he gets notified that all the ships are leaving for some reason. And so we skipping some stuff. We have Marshall talking with Wendell, skipping some of that. We have Nathan basically talking to the robots within him, basically saying that we have to go against this guy. We have to go against Premiere. I know we failed the test, but this isn't the way. We can't allow him to destroy Earth, to cleanse it, to do whatever it is that they want to do with Earth. We have to fight. And I know that doing this will most likely cause our death, but chances are I'm already probably most likely going to die anyways, and I'm willing to fight. Are you? And so he's able to convince the machine to fight alongside him. Meanwhile, Marshall is teaming up with 001, and at first 001 wants to fly away with Marshall, but then Marshall comes up with the idea of, how about we basically jam a bunch of weapons together and supercharge them. This seems to spark a idea with 001's head. Yeah, I'm going to be skipping a bunch of stuff. I don't want to be... If I covered everything for both issues, this is a long video. Nathan's able to take control of his body, starts fighting against Premiere, starts losing. The aliens start sending more like robot machines to attack. And that's when a portal opens, and we have not only Radiant Pink and Radiant Red, but we also have Rogue Sun and Infernal Girl Red, as well as Shift. So basically, characters from Massive Crossover Verse, they teleported and now they're here and they're ready to fight alongside Nathan. We're going to jump to issue number 30.5, where we have Marshall basically going up and collecting all the previous villains when he was Radiant Black. And so he basically wants to gather all of them together to help fight, because he believes that he has a way to destroy the Catalyst, Premiere, and all that stuff. We just have our heroes battling against the machines. Eventually, Marshall shows up and Premiere destroys the ship that they're in. So 001 starts fighting against Premiere. During this, Premiere ends up killing 001. He ends up stabbing him, and Marshall basically reveals that this was the plan all along. Not necessarily for 001 to be murdered, but for him to bring Premiere close to them and to keep his attention away from what they're doing. And so Marshall starts blasting at Premiere with this gun as Saitomi is basically ripping out like batteries and stuff like that and supercharging this machine. And they need more power. So Saitomi goes up to Ava and basically grabs her, starts siphoning powers, and they're basically boosting this machine. And what it turns out is, if anyone remembers, 001 had a weapon that negates the Radiant's power. So Marshall, when he said, how about a weapon that's supercharged, it sparked an idea in 001 where he realized, okay, what if we take that weapon and we just supercharge the hell out of it and basically make it into a bomb? Like, if this thing can disrupt Radiant powers on its own, if it's super powered, it should be able to wipe out Premier and everything in this blast zone. So that's what they do. They basically supercharge the hell out of this weapon. Marshall ends up detonating it, and it wipes out everybody's powers. So everyone gets depowered. Premier is gone, and the vessel for Premier starts like freaking out because he's wondering where Premier is. So that's when some machines show up and they grab the vessel for Premier as well as the Premier black hole orb, whatever you want to call it, and they disappear. They watch as all the like the catalysts and stuff run away. They all fly off, and Nathan's like, "Yeah, like you killed Premier, or at least you cut them off from them. So you basically took away their god. There's no reason for them to be here now." There's like a huge crack. Wendell shows up, and we have this weird moment where we see Marshall from the evil timeline, evil Marshall, where he ends up grabbing Wendell's orb. Like, all right, the full set, I'm gonna need it. And then he basically absorbs all the radiance. So in his timeline, he had absorbed all the radiance except for Wendell, and now he's got Wendell. So now he has all the radiant powers, and he turns into this like weird like light being, and he starts crying as he fades away. And meanwhile, we have this universe's radiance. Their orbs are still here. They are like, you can have the powers of the radiance, but we will no longer have the catalyst. It's no longer we're gonna be cut off from existence. So we won't have the giant robots, but we'll still have our powers and our suits and stuff. And so Ava and Sitomi power up. They get their Radiant Red and Radiant Pink powers. And then we get the answer of who's going to become Radiant Black. And Nathan says, "Marshall, you should have it. Like, this isn't for me. This isn't the thing that I really want to do. Like, my heart's really not in it." And I'm glad that this decision is a decision we get, because I've pointed this out. You can go watch all my previous videos where I said Marshall was the better Radiant. He was a more interesting Radiant. He was the one that the Radiant made more sense. Like, Nathan as a Radiant bugged me because Nathan's heart wasn't in it. He was more interested in becoming a writer in Hollywood than he was in being a superhero. So I always felt like Marshall should have been the one to have it. And Nathan even points this out, like, you're the one that should do this. Like, my heart's not in this. I need to basically like find myself, and you don't need to worry about like turning evil. Like, look at what you did. You won. We won because of you. It was your ideas. It was your leadership. Like, you're not going to become like the Marshall in that other timeline. And so Marshall becomes Radiant Black. And there's some more, but I'm not going to spoil everything. So yeah, we're done with the Catalyst War. Distance is now, I guess, gone, or not gone, but the Radiants are cut off from existence. They're cut off from Premier. Premier is now like either destroyed or just temporarily weakened, wiped out for the moment. So all of Premier's henchmen, whatever you want to call them, are gone. And so I guess now we're just going to get regular Radiants doing their thing, I guess. I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing what the next arc is going to be, because we just finished the whole, like, not only like a world-threatening alien invasion, but it was even a threat to multiple dimensions. So how do you go from that to like street level villains? That's the weird thing that's gonna like, it's gotta be like something big, right? I don't know. This is like a problem I've always had with Radiant Black, is where the flow of things have always felt a little bit off, because we started off with Nathan not really doing anything with the powers. Like, he would help, not even change tires, but like a family with a flat tire to help carry their car to a mechanic. Like, that's what he did. And then he got attacked by Sitomi, put it in a coma. Marshall got his powers. The first thing he did was he fought against 001. So basically an alien that was able to take on all of the Radiants at once. And it took them, you know, all working together, multiple issues, 2 issues, I should say, for them to defeat him. And all of a sudden they went to street level villains. Like, they went to like fighting YouTubers who are robbing banks and stuff like that, and Bitcoin, like crypto coin collectors and things. And then we went to the Catalyst War. So it was just weird. It was like, it's weird to go from like an alien invader to fighting YouTubers to fighting a giant alien invasion that's threatening Earth as well as multiple dimensions to what's the next villain gonna be? Like, how do you top what we just had in terms of villainous superpower? So that's gonna be interesting. But I'm glad that we're done. We're not gonna be needing to do this 2-issue thing anymore, hopefully. And more than that, I'm just glad that Marshall won. And I said I wasn't gonna spoil the ending, but I will just say it seems like Nathan's gonna disappear. So Marshall's gonna be like on his own, or at least he's gonna be like I guess helping, maybe Radiant Red and Radiant Pink are going to be helping him. But it's basically going to be Marshall without Nathan for a while. That's going to be cool. Because, yeah, I still don't really find the Nathan character all that interesting. Even after all this, I really don't care about him as a character. Which is funny because he's the one that I would most likely relate to the most. Nathan is a writer. I'm a writer. Nathan wants to break into Hollywood. I'm a screenwriter trying to break into Hollywood. I've had some success with that, but I'm not like, writing multiple blockbusters or anything like that. So if there's any character I can relate to, it would be Nathan. But I just found him very, very boring as the main character. And Marshall just really intrigued the hell out of me. Which is funny because if you go back and you watch those first videos for the first few issues of Radiant Black, I absolutely hated Marshall. I found him very, very annoying. But once he got the powers and we got to see him as in the spotlight for a while, I actually just changed my mind on him. I was like, this guy is interesting. He's flawed and stuff, but that's what makes him even more interesting to me. So I'm glad that he's going to be the Radiant Black. Yeah, there you go. There's Radiant Black issue number 30 and 30.5. That's the end of the Catalyst War events, and Marshall is the Radiant Black. So I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I still want to thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next one is more to your liking. With that said, thank you once again, and I hope you guys and gals have a good one. Later.